But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people.
All right, guys, so I can't believe I missed this story / clip when it actually happened, but I just stumbled across it today, and I just absolutely had to share it with you guys, as it is a clip from the congressional hearings in which Rand Paul is absolutely grilling Alejandro Mayorkas, who is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, on their new Disinformation Governance Board, or whatever you want to call it, aka the Ministry of Truth. And during this grilling from Rand Paul, he drops a truth bomb on Alejandro Mayorkas' head in regards to how the U.S. government is not in a position to determine what is disinformation and what is not, right? So before I get in that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the link in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip of Rand Paul dropping his truth bomb on Alejandro Mayorkas' head. Take a look.
Do we have policies? Do we have guardrails? Do we have standards?
But here's the problem. We can't even agree. We can't even agree what disinformation is. You can't even agree that it was disinformation, that the Russians fed information to the Steele dossier. If you can't agree to that, how are we ever going to come to an agreement on what is disinformation so you can police it on social media? I think you've got no idea what disinformation is, and I don't think the government's capable of it. Do you know who the greatest propagator of disinformation in the history of the world is? The U.S. government. Are you familiar with McNamara, the Pentagon Papers? Are you familiar with George W. Bush and the weapons of mass destruction? Are you familiar with Iran-Contra? I mean, think of all the debates and disputes we've had over the last 50 years in our country. We work them out by debating them. We don't work them out by the government being the arbiter. I don't want you guardrails. I want you to have nothing to do with speech. You think we can't determine, speech by traffickers is disinformation? You think the American people are so stupid they need you to tell them what the truth is? You can't even admit what the truth is with the Steele dossier. I don't trust government to figure out what the truth is. Government is largely disseminating disinformation.
Yeah, shout out to Rand Paul for that, okay? Because it takes some cojones to be a sitting congressman, especially a Republican sitting congressman, and call out all the times that the U.S. government has lied, right, to the American people, right? And also, including examples of Republican administrations doing it, like under George Bush, right? Lying about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, right? Saddam has weapons of mass destruction, okay? They told us that, hey, you know what? We got to invade Afghanistan because of 9/11, right? We got to go out to Al-Qaeda. Okay, and by the way, that guy Saddam, he may or may not be involved in 9/11, right? But when that didn't work, when people could piece together that, okay, and how in the world did Saddam Hussein has something to do with 9/11, they said, oh, no, it's not that, it's weapons of mass destruction, right? And nobody blinked an eye because back then, you would be canceled if you spoke out against the Iraq war, even though what you were saying was true, which is that Saddam Hussein did not have weapons of mass destruction, and the only reason we were there in Iraq is because we didn't like the guy, right? We didn't like the guy, okay? We wanted to take him out, okay? Because he double-crossed us, tried to go off our oil fields in Kuwait, okay? That is why, okay? Getting revenge. I wish another example of disinformation that Rand Paul would have brought up here is when a certain president whose last name is Clinton said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That's one of the biggest examples of disinformation being pushed by a government official. I wish you would have brought that up. Fast forward to 2020, right? In 2021 and part of 2022, the same thing happened with the pandemic, right? In the sense that if you said anything that went against the mainstream liberal narrative when it came to mask, okay, vaccines, anything like that, you were canceled, right? You're canceled, even though a lot of that stuff turned out to be true. And again, the sad part is people got yeeted from the internet. People got kicked off of social media. Their lives got ruined because the government, aka the Democrat Party, said, no, you can't say those things, and pressured big tech to censor people based off things that the Democrat Party didn't like people saying on the internet, right? So again, he's right. The U.S. government is not in a position to try to determine what is misinformation / disinformation, because they push disinformation all the time. And let's keep it 100 here, guys. This is a Democrat and Republican thing, right? Every single administration pushes disinformation, okay? That's just what they do, right? Because they're trying to shape public opinion. That's just what happens. They lie. And that's why you're supposed to have the media there to check the government on their lies, right? That's why you have investigative journalism. However, in this day and time, we don't have investigative journalism anymore because networks like MSNBC and CNN have basically become arms of the Democrat Party, right? And they are pushers of the so-called disinformation as well, too. Just like they push the disinformation of Russiagate, okay? The idea that Trump is butt buddies with Putin, right? He's a Manchurian candidate who got pissed on by Russian prostitutes, according to the debunked Steele dossier, which, you know, Alejandro Mayorkas can't say for sure that's disinformation or not, right? But again, he's the guy that is telling us that, hey, you know what? We're going to tell you guys what to believe and what not to believe, okay? Which is dangerous. That is so dangerous for a government to tell people what to believe and what not to believe, okay? Now, they're disguising this as something that's going to be benign, right? Oh, no, it's just a council on, you know, trying to make sure people get, you know, proper information about what's happening with immigration, right? About the pandemic, about Russia. But hey, we all know the disinformation that they put out here about all three of those topics, right? Oh, the border is secure. 15 days to stop the spread, right? Again, we already ran over Russia and the disinformation that they put out there about Trump being butt buddies with Putin. I'm just saying, I don't trust the U.S. government on any of those three topics, right? I don't trust them on any of those topics, okay? I really don't. And furthermore, I damn sure don't trust social media and these big tech companies to be the arbiters of truth either, okay? Because they're just not equipped for it. I've witnessed it personally, guys. When it comes to the pandemic and so-called misinformation, guys, they have people that have no medical degrees, no medical background, no science background, literally trying to police people on what is medical information and what is not, okay? It doesn't make sense. It's simply not possible, right, for them to do that. Okay, so these social media companies trying to do that, it really doesn't make sense because half the time the stuff that is commonly accepted as misinformation is factual in the next, couple months or a year. That's basically how most of this pandemic has been. Okay, so it's a really silly thing to try to do. These people at these social media companies are not equipped for it, right? New information comes out every single day. Information evolves over time. Okay. And furthermore, a lot of these people, these social media companies are political actors as well, too. Right. I.e. the Hunter Biden story getting censored. Okay. This is why you can't trust them, because they're not trying to act in a way that is truthful, right? Where they're actually trying to present facts to people. They're actually acting as, again, political actors, trying to sway public opinion in favor of the Democrat Party. Because what is happening, guys, right? Especially with the creation of this Ministry of Truth here. The Democrat Party is simultaneously trying to combine government, traditional media like CNN, MSNBC, and social media. They're trying to combine all those into one, okay? That's what they're trying to do in order to control information and to make sure that everything that's against the Democrat establishment narrative is deemed to be disinformation, right? It's deemed to be not true, okay? They want to be the purveyors of truth, right? They don't want to open public debate. Okay? Because like Rand Paul said, the way that we found out that the weapons of mass destruction claim was a lie is, hey, we had an open debate, right? The way we found out all the stuff that happened with, in Vietnam and the Pentagon Papers and all that stuff, how much the government lied about that, hey, we had an open debate, right? The way we found out that Bill Clinton actually was having sexual relations with that woman, right? We had an open debate. When you close off open public debate to things, that is how you keep people in the dark. That is how you keep people ignorant. And that is how you end up with an authoritarian, uniparty state like North Korea, okay? Which we all know, Kim Jong-un keeps his citizens in the dark, tells them what's true and what's not true. What's the difference here, right? What's the difference? We're headed towards that. That's what we're headed towards. The people that we talk down on, China, North Korea, the way they treat their people, that's exactly how the U.S. government is trying to treat the American people, okay? They're trying to treat it just like that, right? And this is one of those examples. Trying to tell the American people what's true and what's not true, right? And trying to force the private sector and these media companies to do the same and to punish people for speaking out against the government narrative, right? It's really shameful. It really is shameful how authoritarian the Democrat Party has become. And again, this is why they hate Elon Musk so much for buying Twitter, because they're scared of free speech. They're scared that Twitter, under Elon Musk, will be in direct opposition to Biden's Ministry of Truth, right? That's why they're so afraid of Elon. This is why they want to subpoena him to Congress and try to convince him to censor the platform, right? That's what's going on here, guys. That's what's going on. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.